It's easy to demonize women these days. Everywhere you look, someone is calling them selfish, someone is calling them liars, someone is warning you that they're out to ruin your life. But maybe the real problem isn't with women. Maybe the real problem is where men go looking for them. Today, we're going to talk about how men, women, and an entire generation collapsed together, and how Islam, long before any influence existed, had already solved this. Wrong places, wrong women. Let's be honest, most men today search for women in nightclubs, at college parties, on dating apps, and places built for entertainment, not for legacy. And when they find a woman shaped by these environments, they act shocked. Shocked that she doesn't want loyalty. Shocked that she's playing games. Shocked that she's chasing attention. But what else did you expect to find at the marketplace of vanity? The truth is simple. Good women don't advertise themselves. They're hidden, protected by fathers, brothers, communities that still remember what honor is. You don't find the pearl floating at the surface. You dive deep. And even then, not every diver deserves one. Islam's forgotten tradition. In Islam, marriage isn't a random lottery. It's not a swipe, a DM, or a casual hookup. It's a serious, structured, sacred search. A man doesn't find a wife by getting lucky. He, alongside his family, approaches other families with dignity, transparency, and purpose. It was never about looks, and it was never about clout. It was about faith, character, honor, and trustworthiness. The Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, taught, a woman is married for 4 things: her wealth, her lineage, her beauty, and her religious commitment. So choose the one who is religious, may you prosper. Islam protected marriages before they even began, by protecting how men searched and what they prioritized. We didn't lose good women, we just stopped looking where they lived. I came across a clip of Andrew Tate not long ago, and it said,
"The day you need a woman, the day you're feeling pain, because men have hard lives, and the day something bad has happened to you, and you go to a woman, and you say, I feel terrible, and I'm struggling, I've got anxiety, and I'm stressed." You know what she'll do? She'll stand there, straight face. She won't cry. She'll just be like, oh, well, yeah, you'll be okay. She won't show an ounce of empathy or an ounce of emotion, because she doesn't give a fuck. Women only care about themselves. Women are selfish. They don't care about anything but themselves. That's why they can't lead. That's why they can't run a country, because women are self-absorbed. So if they're not going to cry for your struggle, and you know them, when they're crying for people they don't know, rest assured, it is not genuine. It is simply manipulation. When a woman cries, it is only ever manipulation. They cry to try and affect you. When you're talking to a woman and she starts crying, just know she is trying to fool you. She is trying to trick you. She's trying to hide her intention. She's trying to play innocent. It's all a lie. If something actually is worth crying over, she doesn't give a fuck about you. Ever.
And maybe, in his world, that's true. But maybe the women he surrounded himself with, the environments he chose, the circles he entertained, were always poisoned. You can't swim in dirty water your whole life and then complain that everything tastes bitter. Islam taught us differently. The woman you marry, her character, her faith, her loyalty, reflects the path that you walk to find her. But let's not pretend that this is just a woman problem. The collapse of real love didn't just happen. We, as men, collectively set the stage for this to happen. Men today want pleasure without responsibility. They want bodies without souls. They want conquest without loyalty. They chase a feeling, not a future. If all you want is pleasure, go buy a rubber body. At least then, you won't inflict irreversible damage on someone's daughter. Real men don't play with real souls. They protect them. And here's a simple truth. A man who sees a woman only as a body becomes less than a man himself. How social media killed romance. And if you think this is just about clubs and apps, it's much deeper than that. Social media turned romance into a theater. Love became a numbers game. Likes, DMs, streaks, swipes, everything became a strategy to impress, to conquer, to win. Nobody listens, nobody sees, nobody waits anymore. We replaced real presence with perfect captions. The elders' hypocrisy. And while we're pointing fingers, let's be clear about something else too. The older generation loves to say, back in my day, things were better. But if this generation is rotten, it's because their hands shaped it. We are the mirror of their failures, not a rebellion against their success. They abandoned faith, they sold values for comfort, they laughed at discipline, and now they pretend they don't recognize the monsters they created. Islam's system of real accountability. Islam didn't just encourage virtue, it built an entire civilization around protecting it. Islamic law wasn't designed by politicians chasing power, it was revealed by the creator of human beings, who knows our nature better than we know ourselves. And that's why Islam didn't leave society's survival up to wishful thinking. It commanded modesty to protect dignity. It forbade adultery to protect families. It forbade backbiting to protect trust. It commanded honesty to protect business. It forbade theft to protect security. And it established zakat to protect the poor from being crushed. And when someone threatened these pillars, Islam didn't play games. Because if you lose dignity, loyalty, trust, and honesty, you don't just lose happiness, you lose civilization. That's why punishments in Islam were serious. Because society itself was sacred. Adultery wasn't just a casual affair, it was a betrayal of families and future generations. That's why Islam imposed the had punishments, not to humiliate, but to protect the sanctity of marriage and the dignity of women. Theft wasn't just taking something, it was an attack on trust, security, and the ability to live without fear. That's why Islam commanded the cutting of the hand, not as revenge, but but as a deterrent. And even that came with strict conditions. The person had to be sound of mind, the item had to be above a certain value, the society had to provide basic needs, and the action had to be proven without doubt. These weren't punishments for fun, they were preventative warnings, and they worked, because when justice is swift, clear, and sacred, evil hides. And yet today people mock these punishments. They call them barbaric, they say Islam is outdated, they say it's too harsh. But let's be real, the only reason they attack Islamic law is because they're too weak to take accountability. They've become addicted to sin, comfortable in crimes, and allergic to consequences. They don't want to stop destroying society, so they pretend Islam is the problem. The Quran said it clearly, chapter 45 verse 23. Have you seen the one who takes his own desire as his God? They don't want guidance, because guidance would mean giving up the things they love most. And for many people today, that God is their own desire. And without accountability, chaos becomes normal. And that's exactly what happened when we walked away. We abandoned divine laws in the name of progress, and all we earned was regression. Now we live in a world where family is a burden, loyalty is a joke, romance is fake, and truth sounds like hate. But it's not too late. Real honor can still be revived. Real families can still be built. Real love still exists if you're brave enough to live differently. The question isn't, can we fix the world? The question is, will you choose to fix yourself first?